Jake woke up to the sound of his alarm blaring, and for a moment he lay there in bed, trying to convince himself that today was just another day. But as he glanced at the calendar hanging on his wall, the reality hit him. It was his first day at a new school. He climbed out of bed, the excitement and nerves of starting at a new school making him feel both jittery and restless. His mom had laid out his clothes the night before, a blue shirt and khaki pants, which he put on with an air of forced enthusiasm. As he trudged downstairs for breakfast, he noticed the absence of his little brothers. His parents were already up, bustling around in the kitchen, preparing pancakes and eggs, but Jake's stomach was too knotted with anxiety to enjoy the meal. His mom noticed his lack of appetite and gave him an encouraging smile. "It's going to be a great day, Jake. Just be yourself, and you'll do fine." Her words were meant to comfort, but Jake could only manage a nod. The drive to school seemed to take forever. The school loomed larger and larger with each mile, a place full of unknown faces and uncharted territories. When they finally arrived, Jake's heart raced. As he stepped out of the car, his parents walked him to the entrance, chatting with the principal, who welcomed them warmly. Jake tried to listen but found himself staring at the ground, focusing on the sounds of his own footsteps as he followed them through the door. The school's hallway was bustling with students, and Jake felt like he was a tiny fish in a massive ocean. He glanced around, trying to find his locker, but the rows of lockers seemed endless and confusing. A friendly face in the crowd turned out to be Emily, one of the student council members. She noticed Jake's look of confusion and offered to show him to his locker in the classroom. Grateful for her kindness, Jake followed her. Emily chattered away about the school's activities and teachers, and Jake tried to keep up with the conversation, his nerves beginning to ease just a little bit. By the time they reached his classroom, he felt slightly more at ease. Jake's new classroom was filled with colorful posters and neatly arranged desks. His teacher, Mr. Thompson, greeted him with a warm smile and introduced him to the class. Jake's face turned red as all eyes turned in his direction. The students seemed friendly, and he noticed a couple of them nodding in his direction. He took a seat at an empty desk, trying to blend into the background, but his mind was racing with thoughts of fitting in and making a good impression. As the day progressed, Jake met his classmates during group activities and found himself slowly becoming more comfortable. He discovered that the kids were welcoming and eager to include him in their conversations. At lunchtime, Jake found himself sitting with a group of kids who seemed genuinely interested in getting to know him. They talked about their favorite video games and sports, and Jake found common ground with a couple of them. By the time recess came around, Jake was beginning to enjoy himself. He played a game of soccer with a few of the boys from his class and found that he could hold his own on the field. The laughter and camaraderie felt like a breath of fresh air. The rest of the day went by quickly, filled with new lessons and interactions. Jake participated in class discussions, and even answered a question correctly, which earned him a nod of approval from Mr. Thompson. When the final bell rang, Jake felt a mixture of relief and accomplishment. His first day at the new school had been challenging but also rewarding. He packed up his things and headed out, eager to tell his parents about his day. As Jake walked out of the school building, he saw his parents waiting for him. They looked at him expectantly, and Jake's face broke into a smile as he recounted the day's events, including the new friends he'd made and the fun he'd had. His parents listened intently, and Jake could see the pride in their eyes. They praised him for handling the day so well and encouraged him to keep up the positive attitude. Back at home, Jake felt a sense of accomplishment. The anxiety he had felt that morning seemed like a distant memory. He realized that while the day had been filled with uncertainties, he had navigated it with bravery and resilience. As he lay in bed that night, Jake thought about the day ahead. The new school was no longer a daunting place but one filled with possibilities and opportunities. He closed his eyes with a sense of optimism,